Sellers, I want to talk to you about the negotiation strategy that's going on right now that I am seeing, because I just suggested this strategy to a seller at 8 p.m. on Tuesday night, and I got fired at 11 a.m. the next day. So what I want to talk about is my theory is that the negotiation strategy has changed because there are so many new real estate agents in the market. This is at least for Phoenix. And because there's so many new real estate agents in the market and they entered in 2020, 2021-ish, what they're doing is they are encouraging their buyers to not submit low offers because they've never worked in a market where you submit low offers. They think it's rude, they think it's offensive. So buyers these days are not being told to submit low, which means they're waiting for the price to come down, and then all of a sudden the seller has multiple offers when it's priced correctly. And my theory is that these new agents are advising their clients wrong. And on Monday, I had a conversation with somebody who's on the Scottsdale Board of Realtors, and he told me that the number of licensees from 2020 to 2026 outnumber the number of licensees before 2020. That supports my theory. That is all I needed, is that the negotiation strategy has changed for buyers because they are being advised differently than how they used to be advised. So with that being said, what happened was I suggested to my seller, why don't we lower the price to X amount so that we can put ourselves in control, and instead of waiting for buyers to choose us, we need to lower the price so that we have multiple offers and now we're the people in control and driving the negotiations. It was a strategy. It was something to throw out there. I didn't say we had to, but we had been on the market for like 60 days, 60, 70 days. I don't remember the exact amount. And we weren't having private showings. So sellers, the number of private showings you're receiving is the indicator of price. If the price is lagging and there's no private showings, that tells you that the price is too high. Now, back to my first point. If you're a seller and you want your number, I have 1000% seen comps, not my sales, but comparable sales, where the seller held out for 3 years and got their number. That's what I'm saying. If you want your number, you're foregoing time. And if you want to sell quickly, then you're foregoing money. You can't have it both ways. So I think I got fired because he was upset with the number I suggested. You know, I was always taught, and it makes sense now that I have, 18 years in the business. It makes sense to me when I was told that no amount of marketing can overcompensate. Scratch all of that. No amount of marketing can sell an overpriced house. That's just the truth. Unfortunately, we have all of those third-party vendors and websites, Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, Realtor.com, that are doing a lot of the heavy lifting for buyers, and they have so much access to so much information that they know what a price should be. And like I said, it's a perfect storm when a seller wants their perfect number and a buyer has to have that house, and the buyer is willing to pay that number because they have to have that house. It's a perfect storm. It's very rare. And then in the example I gave, I've seen multiple occasions where it's years and years of waiting for that seller to get their number. So, the seller told me that he wants to work with somebody who doesn't want to lower the price. And I'm like, I'm feeling the pressure to sell the house, right? It's been on the market for 60 to 70 days. It's important to me that it gets sold. I don't just collect listings. That's not what I'm trying to do. I had Instagram ads going. I'm cold calling the neighborhood. I'm holding open houses every week. I have to go back and calculate how many hours I've spent at that house. I'm fighting. I've had a lot of inquiries for low offers. Hey, we want to submit 2.8. Hey, we want to submit 2.7. And I'm going through and acting like this is an appraiser, and I am showing them why it's worth the number that it's worth. But it wasn't convincing enough. Those people didn't believe it, and it's because the house wasn't right for them. So the whole point of this, it's not poor me. The whole point of this is I really want to drill this home, and I feel like every one of my videos is becoming about price. Price is the marketing tool. I don't need to go spend tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. The teams who say that they're going to spend $1 million on marketing for you, they don't need to if it's priced properly. They need to if it's not priced properly. Because another thing that I believe is that the seasonality of listings has kind of gone to the wayside because everybody is attached to their phone, because everybody has their searches set up, and everybody who's seriously looking they're getting those dings when that house comes up. Every time a new house hits the market, every time there's a price reduction, every time something goes under contract, everybody has their search set to be notified when it happens. It does not matter what time zone they are in, what country they are in, they are receiving that notification. Now, of course, when it comes to seasonality, we still have the high season and the low season, right? So for somewhere in the Midwest, for example, that is due to weather, and because there's no snow, I don't really have experience with that. But with Scottsdale and Miami, we want to sell when it's a little bit cooler, when it's the perfect weather, which means more people are in town. And so yes, you're having the people, the whole point, like this is part of my listing presentation, the whole point of social media or being in magazines or listing at the right time of the year is to make sure that we're capturing those people who actually aren't looking actively right now to move. It's like they arrive in Scottsdale, they arrive in Miami, and they're loving the lifestyle. Maybe they find a neighborhood they love, and that's who we're hoping to catch. That's when they're starting to look and like, oh, let's just see what happens. We've kind of been thinking about it. Because what I've learned is that every single person on the planet is always secretly looking. They're always secretly looking, you know? They've got themselves set up on a search. They're asking questions. They stop into open houses. I mean, everybody's curious about real estate. So that is why we want to put the house on the market as a seller when the most buyers are in town, when we're going to have the most eyes and the most visitors at open houses. But the truth is, it's not going to sell unless the price is right. So I really hope I'm hitting this home and it's something that you can understand, because all I can say, which I've said it twice already, if you want your number, then you're going to forego time. You're willing to wait for as long as that takes. And if you want your price, and if you want it to sell it fast, then you're going to forego the number. So that's all I got for you. Would love to hear sellers' feedback on any of this, and buyers, if you have, curious what you've been told, if you've made it this far in the video, curious what your agents have told you. I'm still very much in the belief of, if you find a community or a building that you like, a house that you like, let's go around as the buyer and we're going to submit a whole bunch of offers, at least 3 offers. Let's just see who's willing to play ball. And especially right now, this is why sellers are having a tough time selling, because there's too many options out there. I mean, I just saw an article that there's more sellers than buyers in the market right now. So what does that mean? Buyers do not have to budge. They can do whatever they want, whenever they want, at the time they want, for the amount they want. Somebody's out there and somebody's going to give them everything they need and want. Just saying. So would love to hear any real life feedback that you have recently experienced, you're currently experiencing. I touched on a lot here. So negotiations. Oh, I gotta go. I'm getting mosquito bites. Negotiation styles. I'm touching on negotiation styles, touching on what I'm seeing in both markets. You know, when to list for seasonality to get the most eyes. I'm talking about social media. So this one was kind of a little bit of all over. It was unplanned, but would love to hear your real life feedback.